Okay, hello everyone. So this shiur is dedicated, sponsored by the family of Mel Davids, by his daughters and son-in-laws. Obviously, in his memory should be Bezrat Hashem le'ilui nishmato. Okay, so we start a new subject just a few weeks before Pesach. So it's about time to study a little bit about someone who is not mentioned in the Haggadah, but mentioned a lot in the Torah, which name is obviously Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, so we will need to try to understand a little bit what are the reasons, at least according to the Midrashim, mostly Midrashim, what are the reasons for Moshe's chosenness? Why was he chosen? And what can we learn about it for, obviously, about leadership? So, take a look at Shmot Rabbah, the first Midrash. The first Midrash says the following. ומשה היה רואה, right? That's based on the pasuk, ומשה היה רואה את צאן יתרו. So, the Midrash says the following. כל מי שכתוב בו היה מתוקן לכך. Meaning every time you see in the pasuk היה, so you know that he was born ready. Okay, born ready. הן האדם היה כאחד ממנו. So it says היה regarding Adam and Chava. מתוקן לכך היה. So he was really ready to what? To be like God. I mean, not God, but to be someone very spiritual. מתוקן היה מוות לבוא בעולם, שנאמר וחושך על פני תהום, זו מיתה שמחשיך פני הבריות. והנחש היה ערום, and the serpent was cunning, מתוקן לפורענות היה. So he was worthy, or he was ready for what? For פורענות, calamity. Meaning he was ready to bring calamity. בנוח כתיב בו היה. נוח איש צדיק היה. He was a righteous person. מתוקן היה לגאולה. So he was ready to what? To bring גאולה, to bring redemption to his generation. ויוסף כתיב בו היה. Also with Yosef it says היה. מתוקן לפרנסה. So he was what? He was ready. He was born to what? To bring פרנסה to the world. I mean to sustain the world. ומרדכי להצלה. It says איש יהודי היה בשושן הבירה. So Mordechai was designated, was ready to what? To bring salvation. ומשה לגאולה. And Moshe for redemption. מתחילת בריאתן נתקנו לכך. So yeah, but so the word ראוי לכך might be interpreted in different ways. ראוי, worthy, yeah, you should be worthy. Or that basically when he was born, he was already ready for it. Or that he had some kind of what we will call some kind of an inclination or tendencies to do it. So, according to this Midrash, it's not only about Moshe, it's about others as well. But the idea is that Moshe was chosen already from what? From birth. And we know in today's world, the major debate about leadership, it's just about successful people, is nurture versus nature. Okay, so that begins with the Midrash in Shmot Rabbah. Was Moshe already ready for leadership? Or that he had to what? To work hard or to work a little in order to what? To get to where he wanted to be. So according to this Midrash, you have a list of people that basically they were ready. Now, does not mean, by the way, that he couldn't find himself not as a leader. It was still his choice. But in terms of characteristics, talent, maybe even cognitive abilities, he was already what? He was ready. Yeah. So he definitely had it. Some people just don't have it. So he had it, but it still had to what? To be developed. Okay, so this is the first Midrash. Okay, second Midrash. אף משה לא בחנו אלא בצאן. With Moshe, he was also tested with what? With how he led the flock. אמרו רבותינו, כשהיה משה רואה צאן של יתרו במדבר, so when Moshe shepherded Yitro's flock, ברח ממנו גדי אחד. So one of the little lambs, he ran away, ורץ אחריו, and he ran after him, עד שהגיע לחסות. until he got to like a shaded place. כיוון שהגיע לחסות, נזדמנה לו בריכה של מים, ועמד הגדי לשתות. So there was a little bit of a source of water, and the lamb drank from it. כיוון שהגיע משה אצלו, so when Moshe reached that place, אמר לו, אני לא הייתי יודע שרץ היית מפני שעייף אתה. I did not know that you ran just because you were tired and thirsty. הרכיבו על כתפו והיה מהלך. So he put the lamb on his shoulders and he walked away. אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא, so Hashem says to him, יש לך רחמים לנהוג צונו של בשר ודם. You have compassion and mercy to what? To lead a flock of בשר ודם. חייך אתה תראה צוני. So therefore you're going to what? To lead my flock. הווי אומר, ומשה היה רואה. Okay, so this is a different perspective. That has nothing to do with Moshe born to be a leader. This is an act of kindness. And very much as David HaMelech, who will see that in the next Midrash, did something with the flock. So, you know what, I'll ask you a question. How many of you tried to be a shepherd? Like a real one? How was it?
Well, I did it as part of an anthropology program when I was studying something, and went to the Indians, the Navajo Indians in America. You could either go to the Spanish Americans or the Navajo Indians. I chose the Indians. No one else did. And but we would meet every 2 weeks, and it was amazing. I went with the granddaughter on horseback because I was good at horseback. And so we went out to shepherd 160 sheep, and way out in the desert, out there in Arizona. And it was unbelievable. And I said to myself, now I understand why the big ones were shepherds.
Okay, so I want to ask you about what was the most difficult thing, like in a sentence, what was the most difficult thing to lead the flock?
They do whatever they want.
Yeah, but no, you have to get them. There were also some dogs. But anyway, for me, it was to know that we were going to be killing them slowly to eat.
Oh, okay. So I am. That's not why was Moshe chosen. But the thing is that basically anyone here, I tried once. I think it's in Mishor Adumim, whatever. There is like a place when you can try to shepherd a flock. It is more difficult than you would ever think. Those sheep.
They go here, I felt like a shepherd. It's very hard to get any group together.
So you need to know who is the leading sheep from the flock, or the leading male, whatever, in that flock. And then also, it's not that easy. You don't just go with your like little makel, your staff, and you say, okay, follow me. Okay, it doesn't work like that. You really need to understand them, and you also need to understand that there are different ages in that flock. So what Moshe showed here, and this is, I think, how many people misread the Midrash. I don't think that Moshe was a good shepherd. Why? He didn't understand that the lamb was tired and thirsty.
And he left the rest of the sheep.
What
did the rest of the sheep do when he
I don't know. Maybe they waited. I don't know. But the thing is what I want to understand from this Midrash is Davka, that he was not a good leader as a shepherd. But what he did show was what? Compassion. And to admit his mistakes. This is what a leader can do. Meaning he understood what happened. He could be cruel and say and take this lamb and chase him away, or not let him drink, or whatever it was, or to punish him for leaving the flock. Instead, what does he do? He says, Lo yadati, I didn't know. So A, to admit that I made a mistake, and B, he took this lamb on his shoulder, showing what? Compassion. There is no leadership here, so to speak, in terms of what we will call leadership qualities. No, he led them through the desert, he led them through the mountains. No, that's not what this Midrash says. This Midrash says basically Moshe was able to admit his mistakes and to show compassion to the entity, to the creature that taught him that he made a mistake. Now, a third midrash leads us a little bit to what? To Moshe being a good shepherd, which is דבר אחר, ומשה היה רואה, הדה הוא דכתיב, כל אמרת אלוקה צירופה, מגן הוא לחוסים בו. אין הקדוש ברוך הוא נותן גדולה לאדם, עד שבדקו בדבר קטן, ואחר כך מעלהו לגדולה. Basically, it says, what does it mean? Moshe היה רואה, but Moshe was a shepherd. We are on the third source. הדה הוא דכתיב, that's what it says in משלי. כל אמרת אלוקה צירופה, everything that God says is צירופה. What is צירופה? So צירוף is to go through purification. Okay? כמו לצרף את הבריות. Which means you go through some kind of a test, you go through some kind of fire. מגן הוא לחוסים בו. And God is a shield for people who trust him. So he says, אין הקדוש ברוך הוא נותן גדולה לאדם. Hashem does not give greatness for a person, to a person, עד שבדקו בדבר קטן, until you test him with something minor, and then you can appoint him. הרי לך שני גדולי הדור, you have two great people, two great leaders, שבדקן, that Hashem tested them, ונמצאו נאמנים, and you find them to be trustworthy, והביאן לגדולה, and Hashem appointed them for greatness. בדק לדוד בצאן, ולא נהגם אלא במדבר כדי להרחיקו מן הגזל. He tested David, and David took the flock to where? To the desert. Why to the desert? Because he was afraid that they will go to other fields and will eat something that does not belong to them. By the way, that was also the struggle between Abraham and Lot, meaning they are shepherds. Very good. שכן אליאב אומר, ועל מי נטשת מעט הצאן ההנה במדבר? מלמד שהיה דוד מקיים דבר המשנה, אין מגדלין בהמה דקה בארץ ישראל. אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא, נמצאת הנאמן בצאן, בוא וראה צאני, שנאמר מאחר עלות אביו לראות ביעקב עמו וישראל נחלתו. Meaning Hashem says to David, you basically prove that you do not want your flock to eat or to cheat on someone else, so you are a רואה נאמן, you are a trustworthy shepherd, therefore you will lead my flock. So what has had anything to do with Moshe? וכן במשה הוא אומר, וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר. He took the flock to where? To the desert. להוציאן מן הגזל. So he didn't want that Yitro's flock will eat from someone else's field, so he took them to the desert. ולקחו הקדוש ברוך הוא לראות את ישראל, Hashem took him to lead the Jewish people, שנאמר, נחית כצאן עמך ביד משה ואהרון. So you led your flock in the hands of Moshe and Aaron, ומשה היה רואה. Okay, so now, according to this third midrash, why was Moshe chosen?
As you said, he is a compassion toward it.
That was the second one, second midrash.
Stealing. Honesty, not to steal.
Honesty, very good. Now, this is very interesting. This is not anything to do with leadership qualities in terms of how to lead, but rather what not to do.
Character.
Very good. One of the things that we have with leaders is obviously what? That they sometimes forget what is gezel and what is not. Yeah, there is sometimes confusion between what is mine and what is not mine. So the idea is that from the get-go, Moshe and David are basically shy away from what? From gezel. And when you see that, by the way, with Moshe Rabbeinu, when he basically says, Chamor mi lakachta, when he had this thing with Korach, he basically says, I didn't even take a get taxi, to go from Yitro to Egypt, even though all my expenses should be paid by the nation. I did it on my own expense. Which means the idea of leharchik min hagezel, to basically to go as far as you can from a gezel, this is one of the characteristics that a leader must have. Who else in Tanakh was very proud of not taking anything from the people? Abraham. That's true, he didn't want, but Shmuel, yeah, when the people wanted to have a king, Shmuel took all the people and he says what? Chamor mi lakachti. I didn't even take a donkey. I didn't take a thing. And he says, if anyone here think that I'm bluffing, raise your hand. If I took something from you, raise your hand. And obviously, and the people answered him. This is, I think, only once in Tanakh that the people say to a leader, לא עשקתנו ולא לקחת מידינו מאומה. You didn't steal from us, you didn't cheat us, you didn't deceive us, you were honest. I mean, in front of everyone. And by the way, the people around him that Shmuel gathered were not embarrassed to say that if he did. So they testified, it's not about you, we just want a king. Okay. So now we have already three different aspects to what? To why Moshe was chosen. The first one was from birth. Second one is compassion and admitting his mistakes. Third is shying away from stealing, being honest. Okay. Fourth, וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר. למה היה רודף למדבר? This is the last source on the first page. Why would Moshe go to the desert? So we already answered it by the third, because of the גזל. So here we have a different opinion. לפי שראה שישראל נתעלו מן המדבר, שנאמר, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר. So, before we continue, let's just finish up this sentence. המן והסלע והבאר והמשכן והשכינה והכהונה והמלכות וענני הכבוד. Which means what? The pasuk, מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, what does that mean? That's a pasuk from Shir HaShirim. Who is this nation that comes out from the Midbar? Which means Moshe went to the Midbar not necessarily geographically, but rather conceptually.
What does that mean?
Theoretically.
Which means when he went to the Midbar, he didn't go to the Midbar, to the desert. He went to the place where he thought the Jewish people will emerge as a nation. Which means Moshe already had some kind of a prophetic vision that he is going to what? To lead the Jewish people. Now, this midrash, unlike the other midrashim, does not say that it was because of characteristic. Not because of birth, not because of compassion, not because of shying away from stealing and money, but rather it was some kind of prophetic vision. Which means in a way Moshe already chose the Jewish people, or he knew he is connected to them. He didn't know exactly why.
Except that he says no to Hashem, he didn't want to do it.
Agree, but. Which means he understood that he has something to do with the Jewish people, but not necessarily as a leader. Now, if you go backwards, at the age of 16 or 18, Moshe saw himself as a leader. He intervened on behalf of the Jew who was beaten up, right? And then with the two Israelites. The fact that Moshe, maybe because of your question, I'll say the following. Moshe Rabbeinu, it's very interesting. We know a lot about the way he was born. We know a lot about him until he was, let's say, 16, 18.
About what?
About what he did until the age of 16, 18. Then, the next time we know about Moshe Rabbeinu, he was already 8 years old. So what did he do for 62 years? Okay?
In the desert.
So, it depends. The Midrashim have many opinions. Some of them says he was the king of Ethiopia. The other people say he was the general of the Egyptian army. The other one says that he meditated somewhere on a mountain. And some people say he's just stayed with Yitro all those 62 years. Okay. Whatever it is, he left not only Mitzrayim, but he also left the Jewish people for 62 years, right? After he had to flee Mitzrayim, he went and he had nothing to do with the Jewish people. However, if we read this pasuk, וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר, that he took the tzon to the desert, it means what? It means that he still felt something to do with the Jewish people. Now, when he was asked to be a leader, based on his past experience, he says, no, thank you. And that's why he argued with God for whatever, I think 7 days. But the idea is what? Is that Moshe spiritually felt connected to Am Yisrael, but not necessarily as a leader. So that's one aspect in this midrash. Then it continues on. דבר אחר, another explanation. וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר. He led the desert he led the flock to the desert. אמר רבי יהושע, אמר להקדוש ברוך הוא למשה. So Hashem says to Moshe, what? אתה עתיד להעלות את ישראל. You are the one who are designated to do what? To bring the Jews out from מצרים. בזכות מי? Whose merit? בזכות אברהם, שדיבר עמו בין הבתרים, because of Abraham, that Hashem spoke to him with this covenant between the parts, ואין מדבר אלא דיבור. Now this is a midrashic, classic midrashic method. The word midbar does not mean only desert, it also means what? Dibur, to speak. So, וינהג את הצאן אחר, don't call it המדבר, but אחר המדבר, meaning אחרי הדיבור. What דיבור? The דיבור, the conversation that Hashem had with אברהם אבינו בברית בין הבתרים. שנאמר, ומתברך נאווה. What is מתברך נאווה? Your desert is nice, makes no sense, but rather your דיבור is nice. Which means when Hashem spoke to Avraham, it was a nice talk, because Hashem promised Avraham that even though his descendants will be in a foreign land, they will get out and Hashem will reward them. ומן המדבר אתה עתיד להחזירן לעתיד לבוא. And also in the future, you will be the one to bring the Jews from the desert. Now this is the real desert, because they are buried there, to ארץ ישראל, שנאמר לכן אנוכי מפתח והלכתיה המדבר. Which means, Moshe, it's very interesting, באמת, when you think about it, Moshe was able to bring out the Jews from Eretz Israel to where? Not to Eretz Israel, to the Midbar. To the Midbar. He ended in the Midbar, right? Then, in the future, he is going to bring them again from the Midbar to Eretz Israel. That's according to Chazal, that after Tchiyat HaMetim, Moshe will be the one to bring all of Yotzei Mitzrayim, Dor Yotzei Mitzrayim, back to, not back, into the land of Israel. Yes, also.
To see this and go, okay, I can see that this is going to be where this is. I mean, I think the awareness of seeing the burning bush, which we haven't gotten to, but he's able to take this and transfer it in his mind to something else. Is that part of the leadership aspect?
Here in this midrash, basically it says that the Kadosh Baruch Hu says to him, you are the one who are going to be the leader. So it seems to be that Hashem chose him, that midrash, without any reasons. Just maybe that Moshe had some kind of tendency for prophetic visions. And I don't understand even why. I mean, the midrash does not say why Moshe was chosen. This is a very interesting midrash because there is no reason.
Rabbi,
Hashem had to know that. In other words, that's the difference between Hashem knows what's going to happen.
No, Hashem knew for sure what will be with the people. I said, why did he choose Moshe Rabbeinu?
Because Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who was given that role by him.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but why Moshe? Why not Aaron?
You could say those things as
Exactly. So what? No, Naftali, that's exactly the point. My problem with this midrash, you are basically highlight the point. The problem with this midrash. All the other midrashim told me why Moshe was born with this tendency. Or Moshe showed compassion. Or Moshe showed that he can admit his mistakes. Or Moshe didn't want to have anything to do with Gezer. I understand all of that. Great. The problem with this midrash is that Hashem spoke to Moshe. Why?
Because he
Yes.
chose the Moshe.
Yeah, but why?
But it's simple, Rabbi. Why? Because when we, for example, I'll put this bad example, so bear with me. Bibi attending elementary school, let's go back, although he's not my favorite leader, so forgive me. But when the Bibi was attending elementary school, all the Jewish boys looked handsome to me, okay? But Hashem already knew that years and years later, he made, I don't know how many times he made it of the prime minister. Everyone looks same, looks brilliant, but Hashem knew what he created and what he chose. In human unfair. We don't understand. Somebody's smarter than Bibi, better than Bibi. But once God choose the Moshe as a leader and set aside for special education leadership, etc., you cannot argue for that man.
No, the issue is not arguing, it's not second guessing. The question is, why was he chosen? And all the other midrashim attempt to give answers. This one does not. But 1 second, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Was the circumstances of Moshe's birth and the fact that he lived in the palace, grew up in the palace, and that he fled? I think there wasn't anybody else. The whole circumstances of his life, and also if you look at it from the point of view of the Zohar says the Sitra Achra had to because so that the Yetzer Hara wouldn't stop the process.
So it might be true. It might be true. The only thing is,
if it was anybody else.
Yeah. So no, there is nobody else. But you need to understand what there is. There is Aaron. Okay, there is
Aaron
Aaron.
was supposed to be something that.
Very good. So we will get to some kind of an answer. But the only thing that we can prove is from something that it's written, not from something that it's not written.
Okay.
So here it says Hashem spoke to Moshe, right? When Hashem spoke to Noach, we ask the question why, and we have answers. When Hashem spoke to Abraham, we understand why. Why? Abraham chose God before Hashem chose him. When Hashem spoke to Yitzchak and to Yaakov, we understand why. So when Hashem speaks to someone, we understand that there is a reason. Yeshaya, okay, Irmiyah, he has a point. Okay, with Moshe here, according to this, look, the fact. 1 second. But the burning bush we know from Tanakh. I'm talking about this midrash. All the other midrashim are trying to highlight a reason. They try to focus on a reason. Why was Moshe chosen? This midrash just tell me what did Hashem tell Moshe, but not why he chose him. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay? So yes.
So to me that's not something you're going to write down the midrash.
Oh yeah, the midrashim knows how to talk about. Oh yeah. That they talk about why was Moshe unable to speak, and by the way, I don't know what's happened to him, but after that he didn't stop talking, right? For weeks. Yeah, someone else I think raised her hand. No, must speak. Okay, yeah.
We know Moshe also had panim al panim. There's something about the nevuah that Moshe could accept. The nevuah that made it's not written. That's the problem. But we do know that Moshe had a level of nevuah, maybe to connect to this medrash, that was different than anybody else.
Okay, so I think that's the closest. I will tell you why. I will tell you why. Very good. You need to look. This is a little bit methods about Midrash. I mean, everyone here who participates in my Thursday night, 8 p.m. Zoom Midrash, so you understand what we try to do. There is a method to the Midrash which is a little different than the Gemara. The method of the Midrash is that he takes a pasuk and then he gives it the liberty of interpretation and also try to connect it to another pasuk. So here, it starts with what? Davar acher vayinhag et hatzon achar hamidbar. Now, which means what? He took the flock to, in Hebrew it should say vayinhag et hatzon lamidbar, el hamidbar. What does it mean achar hamidbar? After the desert. That makes now the pasuk itself makes no sense. Right? In Hebrew, pashut, ivrit, lo הגיוני. You can say it. If you want to say in Hebrew correctly, you say vayinhag et hatzon lamidbar or el hamidbar. Not achar. So therefore, Chazal, who obviously understand Hebrew very well, understood that there is something, some kind of a midrashic, I don't want to say it's not a superfluous word, it's an odd word that obviously begs for what? For interpretation. Therefore, the word achar can mean what? Achar, achrei, after the desert. So after the desert makes also what?
Beyond.
No sense.
Beyond.
Oh, yafeh me'od. Beyond, which means it's something that it's more than you can see.
Process.
And therefore comes Chazal and say, Moshe had some kind of a tendency to see things that are what? That not everyone can see. That's very similar to whom? To Avraham. Why am I saying Avraham? If you remember the Midrashim about Avraham, when he and Yitzchak and Ishmael and Eliezer, they go to the Akedah, the Midrash says, Vayisa Avram et einav vayar, and he sees the mountain, and he says to them, do you see what I see? So Yitzchak says to him, sure, I see the Shekhinah. He asked Ishmael and Eliezer, do you see what I see? And they say, we have no idea what you're talking about. And therefore Abraham says to them, Atem tisharu po, you will stay right here, and Ani ve'anar nilcha ad ko v'nishtachave v'nashuva alechem. And I am the youth, we will go up there, and I will come back. Which means the ability to see something that no one else sees. Now, what did he see in a minute? Yes, we have a... I can hear you. Very good. Acharai. Go after me. Yafeh meod. So it also means to go after someone. Now, says the Midrash.
Maybe acher, like against.
Acher, like a different. But how would you understand it, like in terms of the pasuk itself?
The same way everybody else would, I would.
Okay, so you know what? Hold on. Let's see. No. Hold on. Let's go with achrei, which means the Midrash can say, vayinhag et hatzon. So he will vayinhag. You can read it also vayenaheg, which means in the future he will lead the flock. Acharei, after hamedaber, lo hamidbar, after he got the command from Hashem. Now, why would Hashem talk to Moshe Rabbeinu? So now I think I have somewhat of a solution, which means Moshe Rabbeinu was the only Hebrew who was not enslaved.
Correct.
Enslaved.
What? In the
What about the Levim?
Levim.
I knew you were going to say that. The Levim were exempt from Avodah Kasha, but they were still under the rule of Paro. Moshe Rabbeinu, what?
Like all citizens were under Paro?
Yeah, but they were like...
So they were slaves?
Yeah, they were slaves. Maybe they didn't work as slaves, they worked at something else, but they were not like... all this midrashim that talks about the idea, that they were sitting in, getting 10. The what? Where was Aaron? So he was a servant of the king. I guess he was part of the, maybe a representative of the Jews, whatever he was. But the idea is that they were all basically slaves. That, by the way, this is a side note. One of the reasons that Moshe's name is not in the Agadah, according to Rav Soloveitchik, he says he never suffered, therefore he cannot really fully celebrate Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's a very harsh, he says, because, he's not blaming him, just a fact. Hey, he doesn't say to him, you had to go and be a slave. He says he was not a slave, therefore we can, because our ancestors were slaves, and we need to see ourselves like we went out from Egypt, so we were also slaves. He was not, and therefore he does not have a part in the celebration. This is a very, you don't need to accept it, but that's what he said.
When he lead the people like in the desert, he suffered enough emotionally, psychologically.
Yeah, but that's not part of Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yeah, I'm talking about the Mitzrayim, being in Mitzrayim itself. Now, but let's leave that aside because this is not the issue for the shiur. However, when you look at the pasuk, so vayinhag et hatzon achar hamidbar. So, the midbar does not mean necessarily desert. It can be medaber or dibur. And also, achar might be achrei, after he was spoken to. Now, we know for Moshe Rabbeinu, who he has this, I guess he had this spiritual tendency, definitely since he left Mitzrayim. And why am I saying that? When he go to the Midbar, let's say now Midbar, desert, not Medaber. Why would you go to the desert? So the other Midrash says because he didn't want the flock to go to someone else's field. But this Midrash does not say that. So why would you go to the desert?
Meditate.
If you need, very good. So let's start from the basic things. You're afraid, right? Like David HaMelech, he ran to the desert because of Shaul, right? But the second thing is to meditate. You have nothing in the desert, right? it's quiet, okay, so you can go there. Now, when you go there, so what does he see? He first saw the burning bush, right? Most people, when they see a burning bush, what do? They run away, right? He ran towards the burning bush. He had to see what's going on. So the idea is, and there is another midrash, I don't know if I brought it now, but basically there is another midrash that says that when in the burning bush, Hashem wanted to reveal himself fully to Moshe Rabbeinu, and Moshe Rabbeinu hid his face, and he says, Ani tiron benevuah. I'm just what? An amateur, right? I'm an amateur prophet. Tiron, כמו בצבא, okay? I just started my training. I'm not even in advanced training, okay? So therefore, I am not ready. Which, by the way, shows a lot about Moshe Rabbeinu, okay?
Which shows why he should have been chosen.
Very good. So I think this is what the Midrash is basically is telling us. His understanding, not necessarily even you. Very good. Yeah, he understood that he needs to be led, but the fact that he was ready for that, this is from the Midbar itself, from the desert itself. Okay, now let's go.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
That you asked me before, so I'm just going to fill in one thing. That's where I understood I was saying about greatly, but because you get in touch with a whole other dimension of spirituality,
right,
and understanding and connection, and
that's true. The desert teaches you a lot about spirituality. I mean, even from army time, there's no question. You know, when they throw you somewhere in the desert and you don't have too much going on there, you start thinking. Yeah, and everyone with his own thoughts. But I mean, if you have good thoughts, so you can reach. Look, I mean, David HaMelech, most of the Tehillim were composed there, and I know everything. He says, "Maaseh yadecha, maaseh etzbeotecha, yereach v'chochavim asher konanta." All the nature around you is when you can go to the desert. So, דבר אחר, למה היה רודף למדבר? Why was Moshe like obsessed with the desert? שצפה שעתיד להחריב קרחי אומות העולם, because he had some kind of prophecy that many of the cities will be destroyed, כמו דעת אמר, הנה אחרית גויים מדבר צייה וערבה. So why would he go to the desert? Because the desert, basically, he was like chasing the desert, not a desert, again, not in a geographical sense, but in the, I would say, conceptual sense, is that most of those cities that are built now will become a desert, and the only one standing will be the Jewish people. So he, in a way, was chasing the desert, chasing the time of the desert. Look how the Midrash is so creative, okay? Basically saying he was waiting or trying to push for the time that all the other cities will be destroyed, and the only city standing will be the city of Israel, the city of Yerushalayim, whatever it will be. דבר אחר, another interpretation, וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר, בישרו, Hashem announced or told him, שישראל הקרויה צאן, that the Jewish people who are called צאן, flock, ימותו במדבר, they will die in the desert. וכן בשעה שטבע משה צורכיהם של ישראל ואומר לקדוש ברוך הוא, הגידה לי שאהבה נפשי איכה תראה כמה חיות בהם, כמה מעוברות בהם, כמה מניקות התקנת לתינוקות, כמה ריביחין התקנת למעוברות. So basically Moshe says to Hashem, you took them to the desert. You know, you need to take care of them. What did you prepare for them? השיבו הקדוש ברוך הוא, אם לא תדעי לך היפה בנפשים, אם לא ידעת סופך, צאי לך בעקבי הצאן וריד גדיותייך. והגדיים אתה רואה, כלומר האבות איתמו במדבר, והבנים נכנסים. ואין אתה רואה הבנים אלא על משכנות הרועים, זו ארץ סיחון ואוג שלא תיכנס משם והלאה. One of the saddest מדרשים ever. וינהג את הצאן, Hashem already says to Moshe, you will lead the people אחר, to their acharit, to their end, in the desert.
Oh my goodness.
And then, zehu. You will be able to lead the Zkenim, but not the Gdaim, not the second generation. The second generation, someone else is going to lead.
Yehoshua.
So he told him here.
Okay.
From the beginning, he told Moshe.
So now we are getting into something very interesting. When exactly Moshe knew that he is not going to bring the people to Eretz Israel? So, let's start. Okay, even though I didn't plan to do it, but I think it's important. Okay. When do you think was the earliest time that Moshe knew that he's not going in? Yes? After Mei Meriva. Okay, that's what, in a way, what the Torah says clearly. Okay, someone thinks that it can be earlier than that, besides the Midrash, obviously. Meraglim. Why?
Because he permitted it when he should have told the Jews, have faith in Hashem.
Perfect, very good. So we will go to the Meraglim. Maybe from the Meraglim you already felt that he is part of it. And by the way, you have something to support yourself from Dvarim, where it says, Gam bi tanaf Hashem. Hashem was also angry with me. Very good. Someone would like to go earlier than that.
Manna, time of the manna.
Time of the manna. Why?
Because when they complain about there's no vegetable, this and that,
Uh-huh.
and God sent the food, manna, but God made it clear because they didn't trust me, and then, if I remember correctly, you're all gonna be dead in the desert because you didn't trust me.
But not about Moshe, about
the people.
Yeah, but I'm saying about Moshe. When did Moshe know?
When Moshe
Yeah.
know.
Okay, so we have Mei Meriva, we have maybe Meraglim. What else? Earlier than that.
When they say we would rather be back in Egypt, no.
Golden cow? No?
Okay, so I'll tell you because I see you on the edge of the chair. After Moshe failed in his first mission to go to Paro, and Paro says, not only that I'm not going to let the Jewish people go, I am going to do what? To make it even harder. Moshe went to complain. Right? Moshe went to complain to Hashem, and he says to Hashem, why did you send me? Why did you do that? Hashem says to him what? אתה תראה אשר אעשה לפרעה, כי ביד חזקה יגרשם וביד חזקה ישלחם מארצו. What does it mean, אתה תראה? What is אתה? Ein, אתה. Now. Not אתה, you. אתה. The Chazal immediately picks on it and says, Ata, now you will see, but you will not be able to see the victory over the 31 Melachim in Eretz Israel, and you will not be able to lead the people into Eretz Israel. Already at the end of Shemot. Now, one second. The idea is that it might be that it was what we called lo nechtam, meaning it was a decree, but it was not signed and sealed. Okay, but it was already like a warning. If you'll do it again, or you will do something like that again, you will be punished. When is the second time? Mei Meriva.
When he hit the rock.
In Mei Meriva, when he hit the rock, there he showed the same lack of faith. I mean, I'm talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. The same lack of faith in what? In the people and in God. Why am I saying in the people and in God? Because hitting the rock, according to most of the Mefarshim, why Hashem was so upset with him? Because if you remember, at the end of Beshalach, the Jewish people complained about water. Hashem told him to do what? To take the staff and to hit the rock. So there is nothing, by the way, who cares if you hit the rock or you talk to the rock? If there is water from the rock, it's a miracle, right? And the people didn't know that Hashem didn't tell him to hit the rock, right? So in terms of the end result is the same thing. So why Hashem was so upset? Because the second time around, Hashem wanted to tell Moshe, don't take the staff. Because the people think it's like a magic stick. Don't take it. Show them that you can talk to the rock and they are mature enough. It's not like that I need to give you a patch in order to do something. I need to talk to you. And because I trust you, you are mature enough, you are a grown-up, you are going to go into Eretz Israel, show them that you trust them. When a leader does not trust his people, he shouldn't be their leader. If you don't believe that your people can do what you think they can do, you are probably a wrong leader. So therefore, the hitting of the rock basically connected to what? To Ata Tir'eh. Moshe came to Hashem and says to him, why did you do that to the people? They are not going to be saved, they can't save themselves, and also I can't trust you to some extent. You said everything will be okay, and here nothing is okay. Same thing with the hitting of the rock. So in a way, what we say is that Moshe Rabbeinu lost the opportunity to go into Eretz Israel because of what? Lack of faith, or to be a little bit too impetuous in terms of Hashem, you said something, we should get it. When you go to Eretz Israel, it doesn't work like that, as we all know. We understand that it's a struggle and it's a process, and not everything that we think will happen will happen. Hashem has his own plans. So the idea is according to this midrash, is vayinhag et hatzon achar midbar. Achar will be ad, meaning until you reach the desert, but after the desert, which means Eretz Israel, you are not going in.
Very cool.
Yes. End of Parashat Shmot.
Oh, Parsha.
Yeah, end of Parashat Shmot.
I'm just wondering why, if Moshe knew early on that he was not going to go in, why at the end did he make such a tantrum about not being able to go in? He already was told he's not going to go in. And it's like he just, and I think he made a circle at some point, and he said, I'm not going to leave
No,
this.
that's Choni.
What is he going to What is he going to do?
So, that's Choni Amaged.
No, not the circle, but he was.
I got you. Your question is, if he knew, why would he try to fight
wanted
it?
to get used to it.
Answer is very simple. He wanted to go in, and he says to Hashem, come on.
Forgive me.
I did something wrong. Beseder, I get it.
I'm human.
But I'm human. So let me go in. And Hashem said to him no for many reasons. Many different reasons, which one, part of them is for the sake of the Jewish people. Which in a way, like any other leader, Moshe had to sacrifice something for the Jewish people. And Manasseh. Yes?
All throughout Moshe's leadership, he would say, Eicha Salavadi. He had like a love-hate relationship as being a leader. Because then when Hashem said, look what your people did, he said, Mecheni na misifrecha. So he really tried to be a good leader.
He's one of my heroes in terms of leaders. But you can learn a lot from him, from his mistakes, and obviously from his great leadership in so many different stories. Yes?
So could he have thought that he could go in without being a leader?
Yes, one of the Midrashim says that basically Moshe says, let me go in, not even as a leader. And Hashem says to him, no, it's not going to work. Not only that it's not going to work, it's not healthy. It's not healthy to remain connected to the people that you led and let someone else lead them. It's just not going to work for the leader or for the people. Because there is going to be some tension between the leaders, and you can be a rabbi in emeritus, but you still have something to do with the shul, right? Yes. Yeah.
That Hashem didn't like that.
That's also true.
The
Yeah.
leader cannot lose his temper.
Exactly. Okay, one more midrash. So we'll start. למה התגלה השם דווקא מתוך הסנה? So why did Hashem? Now we moved a little bit away from why was Moshe chosen. Now we have 4 different, or maybe even 5 different reasons. So now let's see why did Hashem reveal Himself through the sneh, through the burning bush? In the Mechilta, which is Midrash Tanaim, which is a very early Midrash, 1st, 2nd century, says the following: ומשה היה רואה את צאן יתרו, וירא מלאך השם אליו. So Hashem revealed Himself, or the angel of God revealed Himself to him. רבי שמעון בן יוחאי אומר, מפני מה נגלה הקדוש ברוך הוא משמי מרום והיה מדבר עם משה מתוך הסנה? Why did he go through the sneh? Now, obviously, if Hashem would reveal Himself through a mountain or a vineyard or a tree, we will ask the same question. Okay, I promise you. Okay, we will always have the same question. But however, no, there is a burning bush, so we need to ask the question. אלא מה הסנה הזה קשה מכל אילנות שבעולם, שכל ציפור שנכנסת לתוכה אינה יוצאת מתוכה בשלום עד שמתחככת איברים איברים. Says the burning bush has thorns. So if a bird goes in, even if she can come out, she will what? She'll have some cuts. כך היה שעבודן של ישראל במצרים קשה מכל שעבוד שבעולם. The enslavement of the Jewish people in Mitzrayim was very, very tough. ומעולם לא יצא ממצרים לא עבד ולא שפחה בן חורין אלא הגר בלבד שנאמר ויצב עליו פרעה. Meaning from the beginning, from the inception of Egypt, no one left Egypt besides one person, Hagar. And she was given to Abraham by Paro himself. But that itself was a chidush. No one left Mitzrayim. Therefore, the burning bush was what? A mini model of Mitzrayim. Basically, Hashem took the model of Mitzrayim to show, I am going to do v'na'afochu. Which means, no one was able to leave Mitzrayim. No one is able to leave the burning bush without being injured. I will show you how I will take the Jewish people from Mitzrayim, from this burning bush, and they will not be injured. So the first aspect of the Midrash, we'll see others Bezrat Hashem next week. The first idea of the Midrash is what? That the bush, the burning bush, is basically to correspond to Mitzrayim, and to show that Hashem already from the get-go says to Moshe, don't be afraid. I know the history of Mitzrayim. No one was able to leave. I will show you how. I'm going to take 3 million people out of Mitzrayim, and that will be the first time in the Egyptian history. So that's what we will do, B'ezrat Hashem, next week. Please just bring those pages up to the front.